lead off with this little press time here with announced Tommy Milone was going to be our opening day starter on the 24th. I just talked to him a couple hours ago. He's never made an opening day start before. He's really excited. It was a great feeling to be able to tell him. His reaction was priceless, and he was just really excited. So Tommy Milone's our opening day starter.
All right, we can jump into questions. Rich Dubroff, you can lead us off. Go ahead, Rich.
You mentioned a couple of alternatives. What led you to Milone over, let's say LeBlanc?
Well, LeBlanc threw a sim game today, so we. The bottom line with Tommy is that he would just be getting one extra day rest. So we really keep everybody on regular rest. And I didn't want to bring anybody back short in this kind of unusual space and time where we only had a short time to get these guys ready. They've done an amazing job to get ready. We just didn't want to take the chance of bringing somebody back on short rest. And we felt that Tommy was just one day away. So he's going to have 5 extra days before his start. So instead of having a 4-day rest, he'll have a 5-day rest. And it just works out for us in that way.
Dan Connolly, you're up next. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Brandon, kind of a two-part question here. First of all, what does this mean for John Means? What can you give us on that? And also, you've seen some attrition already due to injuries, whether it was Trey to begin with, but also guys like, Martin, Block, Means, whatever. How important is depth this year? Is it more important than it would be in the past? And also, do you feel what's your take on the depth of the organization right now?
Yeah, I think that your depth is going to be tested this year, and I think that that's something that we talked about going in is that we just don't know on a day-to-day basis what it's going to be like, and we've had our share so far of guys going down, most of it being just unfortunate accidents. The Wilkie play, that was just an unfortunate diving catch that bent his finger back. Richie, with the wrist that we didn't even know about till the next day. I wouldn't consider John Means as an injury. I think it's just really more of a little bit of fatigue that he, like we talked about, he kind of experienced last year around this time. And so we're just being cautious with him. He played catch today. He threw the ball well. He felt great. So it's not going to be long before you see him on the mound. He's just probably going to, him miss a few days and be back out there.
John Muley, you're up next. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Brandon. How much needs to happen for some of the guys who haven't been participating the last few days? You mentioned last night Harvey and Cisco. Dylan Tate, we probably know, is a little farther away. But for those guys, what do they have to do to be options to break with you guys on Friday? And I guess I'll ask a follow-up after you answer based on that.
So Chance threw today and did take some live at-bats off of LeBlanc. So LeBlanc threw a 6-inning sim game today. No defenders, just guys taking at-bats off him to get his pitch count up. He got in the 90 range. So Wade's good to go when it's going to be his turn. And we had some guys take at-bats off him. Smitty swung the bat off him. Chance, Wins, Urias. So we saw right and left-handers, and that was earlier today in the heat. So that was encouraging that Wade got up 6 times. And then with some other guys, so I think that Tate still hasn't played catch yet. I think Harvey's going to need a little bit of time. We're obviously going to be conservative with Hunter as well, just from his past. And we're going to try to get him as healthy as possible and make sure that he's healthy before he gets out on the mound.
And I guess the follow-up, if somebody I know I assume you could still backdate like 3 days from opening day the way that you normally would for IL stuff. Because of the expanded rosters, if somebody's going to be ready, Sunday or Monday, and you want to have them, would you consider carrying a guy who isn't ready on Friday to not lose them for the full?
Lost you. It kind of cut out a little bit, so I didn't really understand the question. I just heard a lot of Mondays, Fridays, and Thursdays.
Those are most of the days of the week.
Ask me one more time.
So someone like Harvey or anyone, I guess, would you consider keeping somebody on the opening day roster if they're not ready on Friday, but they could be ready on like Sunday or Monday?
I think so. Yeah, we would consider it. But there's also, you can backdate, the IL. I think it's the 20th is when you can go back to, which puts you to the 30th. Would be the day that you can activate anybody on the IL, off the IL. So you're really missing 6 games if you do go on the IL, if you need to backdate it.
Mark Viviano, you're up next. Go ahead, Viv.
Hey, Brandon. I asked this question as you're addressing injuries and setbacks, but in talking to your guys, there is clearly an abundance of enthusiasm and confidence going into this year. And I'm wondering how much you notice that as a manager. Does some of that come from you? And how significant is that going what you've been through to get a season started on Friday?
I think we have a really good group of guys. I think we have guys that love to play. I think we have guys that have energy. I think we're a little more vocal this year. I think guys are getting a little more comfortable. Some guys that were here last year that were kind of just trying to hang on. I feel like they're a little bit more comfortable in their own skin, and they feel like they're big leaguers. So I think that's a little bit easier. It's never easy, but I think that I feel like they have a little bit more of a voice now. So I think that there's, guys like Pedro Severino is really stepping up in a lot of ways. Really established himself last year. I think Rio Ruiz is more comfortable. Alberto always brings huge energy. And then playing next to a guy like Iglesias that has played on really good teams and with really good players and has a lot of energy himself, it can be contagious. And I think that we do have a lot of excitement. I mean, Anthony Santander just got back yesterday. This guy loves to play, and he wants to play every day. And he's irritated that I took him out after 5 innings after not playing for 4 months or whatever it is. And so I think that I just like the personality of our club. And I think that is a carryover from last year, from what our clubhouse was like. I think guys are more comfortable with that. And I do give a lot of credit to our coaching staff. Our coaching staff, like I said about our guys last year, really, really positive. It's a great coach's room in that they help me out a ton, to be honest with you. And they really help the players with just being incredibly steady, and very, very positive, very honest, and the players know that they are there for them. And it's working out very well.
Good, thanks.
Steve Molesky, you're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Brandon, you touched on it a little bit when you mentioned Tommy would start Friday, but maybe you can expand on it. It sounded like that was a fun encounter for you and for both of you. Can you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, I went up to him this afternoon, before we got on the bus to come down here, and asked him if he ever made a opening day start before, knowing that he didn't. But he had a big smile on his face, kind of like, where am I going with this? And yeah, it's just a great, like I've said before, it's great to give people great news. So it's something that he's going to feel, maybe I'm sure he's already done it, but call home to let his friends and family know that he's an opening day starter. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for these guys. It's, somebody that's had a pretty long career up until this point, been with quite a few clubs, seen a lot of different things, has hung in there, has grinded, has had some good years, has had some tough years. To make an opening day start, that's a special achievement for somebody, and he's not taking that lightly.
Dan Connolly, you're up next. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Brandon, your offense from 2019 lost VR and Mancini. But a lot of your 20-something guys kind of took a step forward last year, with more playing time. And all the names. I won't run it all down. But why do you think those guys could continue to do that? And do you think this offense can be better than people anticipated it will be?
Last year, I thought we were a fun offense to watch. I thought that there were a lot of nights we scored runs, especially the second half. I thought that when Santander was a regular in the lineup and Johnny VR had a really nice second half, and Trey there in the middle, Nooney hitting 30-plus homers. You see kind of Sevy was coming into his own the second half. Ruiz was getting better in September. And Alberto was hitting 400 off left-handers all year. I thought that it was a fun team it was an exciting team. We had our hiccups and we made mistakes, and we made inexperienced mistakes on the bases, things like that. But our guys never gave up, and they did grind. And I think a lot of those guys that are here from last year have continued that and will continue that. Trey's an enormous loss. Trey Mancini is a middle of the order hitter on one of the better middle of the order hitters in the American League. So obviously that's a huge void. Jonathan VR ignited us offensively, won some games for us last year just with his bat and his legs. And that's going to be tough to replace also. But I think that our guys can improve and have improved. I think then you add in Jose Iglesias. That's a veteran. I think, you saw what he did last night. It's just incredibly steady. It's always going to give you a bat. And there's that veteran presence that's going to get a lot of at-bats guys can learn from. And our guys are a year older. And now Austin Hayes is going to be a regular in our lineup, and not just get September at-bats, but get at-bats in kind of a pennant race type of feel. And that's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to our guys taking the next step offensively. Obviously, we're going to miss Trey, but I think our guys are going to improve.
Joe Trezza, you're up next. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Brandon, just two quick ones. What are you looking for out of Cole Stewart tonight, and how long do you think he'll go? And do you think this lineup might be pretty similar to the regular season lineup against left-handed pitching?
Yeah, I think I'll play with some things, but I think that there's a lot of guys that are going to be in there versus the left-handed pitcher. I think you'll see Bert hit more in the top spot, the top half of the lineup, just because of what he's done against left-handed pitching. Kind of last year. If that continues, and obviously we'll leave him up there. But I like Iggy against left-handers. I like Tony the way he swings the bat from both sides. So I think that I'll maneuver it around a little bit, but I think that we're getting a good look at one of the best left-handers in the National League, one of the best breaking balls in the game tonight. So it's a really nice test. Cole Stewart, love to see him get 4 innings. Love to see him walk off the field healthy. That's a big one. I mean, I just want to see strikes. He has the stuff to be a starter in this league. He's got a really nice 2-seam cut combo with the breaking ball and a changeup that he needs to throw more. But it's all about strikes and command with Cole, and because his stuff plays in the strike zone. So I just want him to attack hitters, get his pitch count up, and really force contact.